Well, thanks everyone. This is going to be one of the weirdest reviews you've ever seen me do. We are in the brand new Chevy Bolt EUV. My cameraman Harrison and I are sitting in this vehicle, but this is going to be a review where I'm actually not driving the vehicle because it has Super Cruise and this vehicle is driving itself. My feet are not touching the pedals, my hands are not touching the wheel, we are going around a corner, and it's doing all the driving. This was just announced, and this whole review, the vehicle is going to do the driving. Announced just over a week before, we headed to LA to drive the new Bolt EUV, the first Chevy to get General Motors' autonomous Level 2 driving system. Now, Super Cruise will give you 200,000 miles in the US and Canada of roads in which the roads are mapped, and that means the vehicle knows what the roads are and it can guide you through. It's making lane corrections, it is steering, looking at the road ahead, looking at the lines, and looking at my eyes. So if I take my eyes off of the road, the infrared camera in front of me also notes that I'm not looking at the road. And as vehicles pull in front of me, as that Bronco just did, the vehicle notes that a vehicle has pulled in front of me and makes the adjustments in speed and distance between me and the vehicle in front. The Cadillac version of Super Cruise came out in the CT6, and now it's slowly drifting into other vehicles which General Motors have. This is the first Chevrolet to get Super Cruise, the Chevrolet Bolt EUV. We should also note at this point that the Bolt EV, the smaller version of the Bolt, will not get the option of the autonomous driving software. Now, there are three different light colors at the top of the steering wheel here. There is solid green, which means Super Cruise is engaged. There is a blue light, which means that Super Cruise is engaged, but I am taking control. And then there is this red flashing light, which means something is wrong. I need to take control immediately of the vehicle. A crash is imminent if I don't take control. And that has happened a couple of times. I've taken control and then re-engaged Super Cruise. Although Super Cruise is awesome, there's a lot of other cool tech in the new Bolt EUV. Now, if I was driving this vehicle, it also has another feature which is called one pedal mode, and you can enact that by touching a button just below the shifter. What that does is really takes away the need to use the brake. It uses the engine as a generator. As you pull back from pressing the accelerator pedal, the engine kicks in and turns the vehicle's momentum into energy, slowing the EUV down so you don't have to use the brake. But even though this is an electric utility vehicle, it can still be fun to drive. Now, just for demonstration purposes only, we've taken it out of Super Cruise to show you something, that electric cars can be fun to drive, even without autonomous, to show you that this thing has some get up and go. That was like 5 miles an hour to 42, just like that. Woohoo! What's the difference between the Bolt EUV and the Bolt EV? Now, by the magic of television, I'm going to show you some of the design elements on the exterior of the brand new Bolts. This is the EUV, this is the EV version, the second generation. Now, they may look very similar, but by the magic of Chevy design, they actually have some very separate design elements. Daytime running lights, headlights, very separate. On the EV, they are actually one-piece design. This is a very smooth with a small opening down the bottom. It's much bigger on the EUV here, and it actually has shutters on this version. This has a much more bold, aggressive front end. It has roof rails on the top, a sunroof, 6 inches longer, 3 inches more legroom. This is much more of the EV that we've known as the Bolt being in the past. But those aren't only the things that are different between the two vehicles. It should be noted that the Bolt EUV has 0.3 cubic feet less space behind the rear seats than the Bolt EV, and also that Chevrolet currently does not qualify for the federal tax credit when buying either Bolt. But also note that President Biden would like to change that, and just in time for General Motors' big plans for the future. These are just 2 of the 30 vehicles coming by 2025 that will be electrified in the entire fleet. They will be arriving in early summer. And now I'm going to get back to not driving the EUV on Super Cruise in the California highways.
I'm Nick Miles.